Here we go!
Hey, what's up everybody? This is GamerBlake90, your proud chief of the Blue Blurs, presenting you with another Sonic News video. We've been talking a lot about Sonic Colors Ultimate and Sonic Unleashed, though I've gotta say, I was not expecting to make a pair of videos related to Unleashed, because I don't think any of us foresaw the potential hints that Sega seems to have been dropping, and I strongly stress the word potential. Despite what my last video about Unleashed may suggest, while I am excited with the possibility of an Unleashed remaster, I'm also highly skeptical about it, because if there were a plan for such a thing going on, that should have been referenced directly during Sonic Central. And yet, it wasn't. So, I wouldn't suggest getting your hopes up about it. But anyway, this video is not meant to focus on either Unleashed or Colors Ultimate. Instead, we're going to be highlighting the new Sonic game that is set for a 2022 release date, and that is Sonic Rangers. Just to warn you though, there isn't an abundance of information to share here, because Sega has been very closed-mouthed about this next game since they teased it at Sonic Central. They haven't even referenced it by name. Unless you want to count that accidental press release they put out right after Sonic Central happened. But outside of that, we have absolutely nothing to go off of. We have no gameplay, no elaboration of the story, nothing except a miniature teaser that didn't even reveal anything, save for a mysterious symbol at the end. That was literally it. I guess you want to be technical, there is one other thing about Sonic Rangers that we do know, though Sega never directly stated as such. And it's that Sonic Rangers is going to be played as an open world game, similar to the likes of what was seen from The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. After the new Sonic game was teased, the community immediately referenced a series of leaks that have popped up well before Sonic Central actually happened, and both were in relation to Sonic Rangers, although only one of those leaks identified the game as such, the other did not. Both leaks had a staggeringly large number of elements in common, the most important of which is that Sonic Rangers would be played as an open world game, again being compared to Breath of the Wild. Funnily enough, more and more leaks came up right after Rangers was actually teased, but these were increasingly more far-fetched than the first two that were referenced after Sonic Central, so I would definitely take these with a grain of salt. So the same could be said with the first two leaks, but I find those far more believable, especially with how everything has been lining up recently. Anyway, that's enough with the leaks. You must want to hear something official from Sega just as much as I do. Well, as I said earlier, there's really nothing to report on in that regard, but the subject of Sonic Rangers was touched upon very briefly in a pair of interviews that recently came up. The guest of honor in both of these interviews was none other than the man himself, Takashi Iizuka, the current head of Sonic Team. And these interviews were shared by both Gameinformer and Sonic Stadium. Although in the case of Sonic Stadium, they only had a portion of the interview to share, but we're gonna get to see all of it this Wednesday, June 23rd. Coincidentally, the very same day when Sonic turns 30 and when the Sonic Symphony happens. Knowing all of this, you might be feeling very hopeful that we'll finally get more information about Rangers directly from Sega this Wednesday. But sadly, I have my doubts about that. In the Gameinformer interview, Iizuka is asked twice about the new Sonic game. To put it in a nutshell, they're currently hard at work trying many different approaches to deliver on a next-gen Sonic experience. Iizuka goes on to state specifically that he believes we will see an advancement in what a modern Sonic game could be, and that they're thinking hard about what path to take for the next decade ahead. Now, those responses don't exactly reveal a whole lot about what they're planning for Sonic Rangers, but in the Sonic Stadium article, that's a different story, as Iizuka is a little more specific on what they're planning to do with the game. Iizuka goes on to explain that they are seeking to create something new and challenging with this upcoming game, and he also cites Sonic Adventure as an example of the impact he hopes that this game will leave for at least the next decade or so. Being an adventure enthusiast, I sat up much straighter in my chair when I read that. Now, this alone doesn't necessarily confirm that we will see adventure gameplay elements in Sonic Rangers, but If you go back to the teaser clip for the game and you look closely at his design, specifically his footwear and the length of his quills, I think they're definitely calling back to adventure in some form or another. At least, that's what I'm hoping for. I must admit, I found myself quite surprised to read the term challenging when Iizuka was describing this next game. With all the updates that we've seen for Sonic Colors Ultimate, including the addition of the tail-safe mechanic, it appeared they were leaning more and more towards making their games accessible. We saw a smidgen of this in Sonic Forces where they completely eliminated the life system, therefore making it impossible to get a game over, and they're going towards a similar direction for Colors Ultimate, as the tail-save mechanic completely replaces the life system. And don't worry, I'm gonna make another video talking about that soon. But from what we've seen of the recent gameplay footage for Colors Ultimate, the level design seems to remain the exact same, so while players will no longer feel the pressure of risking a game over if they make far too many mistakes, they will still need to learn the ins and outs of each of the levels they are playing. So perhaps the difficulty curve isn't being completely reduced after all. Either that, or I'm misunderstanding Iizuka's use of the word challenging in relation to Sonic Rangers. Referring back to the interview with Sonic Stadium, Iizuka goes on to explain that Sonic Adventure laid out the foundation for 20 years of Sonic titles after it launched, and he's hoping for a similar result to be achieved by the 2022 game, which is the idea behind the challenge for the team. So this may not necessarily refer to wherever the difficulty curve will be set for the next game, for all we know. I am quite skeptical over how Iizuka believes that Sonic Adventure had laid out the foundation for 20 years of Sonic titles, as I don't think that's necessarily true. It definitely laid out the foundation for a handful of titles, but for 20 years, that might be stretching it. Some of the games released in the last 2 decades appear to take some steps toward what Adventure 1 had established, whereas others have stepped further and further away from it. I sort of think that the desire to try something new was already felt in games like Sonic Lost World, which was largely believed to be a clone of Mario Galaxy, but is in fact inspired by Sonic Extreme, a game that was cancelled quite a while ago. And then there was Sonic Boom series, which was definitely nothing like what you would expect from a Sonic game, based on the footage I've seen of it anyway. After the Sonic Boom era, they fell back to familiar territory, which led us to Sonic Mania and Sonic Forces. Then they sidelined toward a racing game in Team Sonic Racing, and now once again, they're rolling up their sleeves in an effort to come up with something new for Sonic Rangers, which they are clearly hoping will inspire numerous Sonic games in the decade to follow. And I sincerely hope that it accomplishes that goal. So while Iizuka never directly stated that this next game would be open world, he has been very clear that the team wants to try their hand at something completely new, something that could potentially reinvent the Sonic formula for years to come. Knowing all of this, we can safely say that the next game will in no way have a boost formula, though elements of boost-based gameplay may still rear their head in some way, though we can only guess about that. But if the leaks are in any way accurate and Sonic Rangers will be an open world game, I'm expecting comparisons between it and Sonic Adventure 1 and Sonic Unleashed, as both of them featured open world elements themselves, though they weren't full-on open world games. With Sonic Adventure 1, you had the adventure fields which you could explore before entering the action stages, and Sonic Unleashed had something pretty similar in the form of hub worlds. But the majority of the gameplay was conducted in the action stages. Knowing all of this, the concept of open world gameplay isn't necessarily foreign to Sonic Team in its current iteration, but with how much gaming has advanced in Sonic Adventure 1, they could be looking to approach the concept from an entirely different angle, but in what way, we don't know. I'm sure looking forward to seeing how that's going to turn out though, but with the way things are right now, I would not expect any gameplay footage of Rangers in the near future. According to the Sonic Stadium interview with Iizuka, he said the title is still in mid-development, so there's nothing about it he can clarify. But the reason it was showcased at the recent Sonic Central event was to reassure the fans that there was a new game in development, which was great and all, but with how minuscule the teaser was, it makes me wonder if the game is even close to being 50% complete. In fact, a teaser for Sonic Forces showed off far more than this one did, and that was a year before that game came out. So this is very interesting indeed. I've been skeptical about a 2022 release date being announced for Rangers, and now even more so. Are they confident that they can pull this off in spite of the recent challenges that they have been faced with? I personally hope so, but I hope that in order to achieve this goal, they don't end up rushing development. Because Lord knows we've seen plenty of examples of how well that goes. I explained earlier how I found it unlikely that we'd learn anything more about Sonic Rangers once Sonic Stadium discloses a full interview this Wednesday. And I've pretty much explained myself on why that is. But let's be fair here. Right now, part of me is hoping that we'll hear something about Sonic Unleashed when the Sonic Symphony happens this Wednesday, whether it be about a remaster or a port or something completely different. But another part of me also realized that that's very unlikely, as I said multiple times, but a Symphony wouldn't be a likely occasion for any game related news, even if the Symphony revolves around a video game character. But just the fact that it does concern a video game character could pave the way for me being proven completely wrong, which I'm hoping for. Either way, I've never been one to shy away from speculation, and you shouldn't either. It can be a fun thing to do, for as long as you approach it with a healthy mindset. As far as how I feel about Sonic Rangers itself, you can refer back to this video I made weeks ago, where I talk about everything that we know so far about the game, be it from the Sega or the leaks that we've reviewed. I will, however, do you a favor and repeat something I said in that video. Am I excited for Sonic Rangers? Definitely. I'm super curious to see where exactly they're planning to take Sonic, and if it is in open world territory, all the more reason to be excited. I'm a sucker for open world gameplay myself, which is part of why I'm a Zelda fan also. But I'm also quite anxious about how well it's going to go. Sonic has been making significant strides in recent years through the success of the Sonic movie and the comics. But he is a gaming icon first and foremost, and therefore it is highly crucial that he continues to find success in that area. Otherwise, it'll be like cutting off the head of a snake. Its body could consist of the comics, the movies, or what have you. But if the head is cut off, the snake itself won't survive. So yeah, Rangers really needs to hit its mark. I can understand how Sonic Team's recent desire to try something new with Sonic might cause concern for some of you, but let's not forget that there were similar risks that Sonic faced when he transitioned from 2D platformer gameplay to 3D gameplay. And in spite of those who will tell you that Sonic had a rough transition to 3D, which he actually didn't, Adventure 1 turned out phenomenal, and I've had plenty of favorite games following up after it. Though Adventure 1 is still definitely among my top 3, as I may have said quite often. So ultimately, Sonic Rangers is going to be on my mind for quite some time, and I'm sure the Sonic community can say the same. One last thing I want to touch upon before I end this video, and it has to do with the fact that this next Sonic game was described as challenging. Again, this could refer to either the gameplay being difficult or the process of the game being developed. That much was never made clear. But if it does have anything to do with the difficulty curve, part of me is partially relieved at the fact, but I also hope that they approach it sensibly. The concept of being challenged by a game was never what attracted me to the Sonic series in the first place, so I'm not all too worried about that, but even then, I do think that there needs to be a balance in that respect. Sonic Generations, to me, is a good example of a game that finds that sweet spot. You can learn and complete the levels after a few attempts at them at best, but the challenge lies in maximizing your ranks, although S ranks are pretty easy to nail in Generations, let's be honest, as well as completing all of the side missions. If you want an example of a Sonic game where you'll be challenged even more in obtaining an S rank, try Sonic Colors. They're definitely harder to attain there. I'm not asking for an overly difficult game here, but I will say that the thrill of overcoming a difficult scenario definitely is exhilarating, and I'd hate to lose that feeling, be it in Sonic games or in any other games for that matter. So when designing this next game, I hope it's a little bit of something for everyone, whether they are hardcore players or casual players. The fact that this next game is being described as challenging leaves me feeling very hopeful. And that about does it for this video, people. Thank you so much for watching, y'all are awesome. We passed 600 subscribers recently, so pretty sure we'll be hitting 1,000 at this rate, and boy I'm gonna be excited when we do. Anyway, if you enjoy my content, be sure to drop those likes and comments. And you want to keep up my content, hit that sub button and ring that bell so you don't miss out on anything. And also, you should keep a close eye on my channel because I might be planning a giveaway. But for what exactly? I'll leave y'all to wonder for until I do surprise you. Anyway guys, I'm out. Let me know your thoughts on everything we've seen about Sonic Rangers so far. And yeah, take care. Don't forget, blue blurs for life. See y'all later.